Bull, many congratulations. You've won the award for Speed Kings, where you tell the story of 4 rather extraordinary men and a bobsleigh. Tell us more.
Yeah, it's a very long story, but the short version is it's the 4 men who won the gold medal at the 1932 Winter Olympics in the bobsledding for the USA. And they all have their own incredible stories. So it's kind of 4 life stories, really.
How did you how did your interest first get piqued by them?
Yeah, great question. It was this one fact that only one athlete in history has ever won a gold medal at the Summer Olympics and also the Winter Olympics. And when I found that out, I thought that has to be a great story. I'd love to know more about that man's life. And it turned out he was one of the 4 men in this bobsleigh. And his name's Eddie Egan. He was a boxer and a bobsledder. The other 3 men who won the gold medal in the bobsledding with him all had their own amazing stories. And I was like, I've got 4 incredible stories here. This has to be enough for a book. And it turned out it was.
So they were gold medal winners. What ultimately happened to the 4, though?
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I say, 1932. So it's a really interesting part of 20th century history. And what these men's lives were building towards ultimately was the Second World War. And only one of them actually survived the Second World War. The driver, who's really the hero of the book, his name was Billy Fisk. And he was a phenomenally talented driver and bobsleigh driver. And he became the first American airman to die in the Second World War. So a lot of the book is really his story about joining the Royal Air Force in Britain and fighting in the Battle of Britain, and ultimately how he died in the Battle of Britain. And as I say, only one of them survived the war. So it's it's quite poignant in that sense. Yeah.
So you had 4 stories to tell in one, in effect. And how long did the research take?
Well, the research took a couple of years, but it was great fun because I got to do some bobsledding myself. So
Really?
I went off to Lake Placid and rode in a lot of bobsleds.
Any good at that?
Well, I just closed my eyes and hung on. And then, when we got to the end, I found out I was still alive. So
That's good, that's good.
Does that count
Yes.
as good?
Probably passes. Yeah.
And we did some vintage car racing because my hero, Billy, also was a racing car driver. So I spent a lot of time racing around in old Bentleys. So although the research took a lot of time, it was so much fun.
Yeah. Your day job, I suppose, you're senior sports writer for The Guardian. Did you imagine that this book would be so well received?
Well, I always knew it was a good story, and I was always amazed that no one had told it before. So I guess when you're a writer, you have this sense that, I've got something really good here, and you just want to try and do it justice. And I hope that people who buy it and read it will fall in love with it in the same way I did when I first found the story 4 years ago.
Well, our judges clearly loved it. Andy Bull, congratulations on the award.
Thanks.